Sports and the sports industry has, at many instances, been at the forefront, the leaders when it comes to social change. Whether it was Jackie Robinson crossing MLB's long-standing color barrier back in the 1940s, opening the door for many people of color to participate in or just enjoy this country's national pastime, or whether it was the implementation of Title IX in the 1970s, which mandated equality for male and female student athletes, both in the classroom and on the playing field, or whether most recently it was athletes such as Jason Collins and Michael Sam openly coming out gay, knowing there would be backlash from both the media and fans alike. It didn't matter. Sports was always there, sports stood strong, and sports did the right thing. Now it is time for the sports world to take the lead again. The state of Indiana has passed into law what is entitled the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Right off the bat, I don't understand why Indiana needs such a law. Your religious freedoms are guaranteed under the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The First Amendment states that the government is prohibited from making any law respecting an establishment of religion or impeding the free exercise of religion. So, people of Indiana, your religious rights are fully protected under the First Amendment. Number two, the federal government in 1993 passed its own version of the law. And this time it was designed to ensure that religious minorities were protected from laws passed by the government that might not have intended to be discriminatory, but had such an effect. So therefore, all bases were covered. You could practice your law, exercise your religion openly, and you could not be discriminated against by a law, even if that law wasn't intended to be discriminatory. These were perfectly good laws designed with the intent to carry out what our forefathers wanted, a country built on tolerance. What the state of Indiana has passed, in my view, is a bastardized version of the federal act. Indiana's act will allow persons, and when I say persons, I mean corporations and businesses, it will allow them to be protected from lawsuits. It will allow them to be immune from paying damages when one of these persons, when I say persons, I mean corporations and businesses, when one of these persons purposefully, intentionally, and willingly discriminates against a segment of our population. These people will be protected from lawsuits when they discriminate against people different from them. Ironically, all in the name of religion. This law protects people who discriminate. So, since the government of Indiana isn't willing to recall or otherwise repeal this law, it is up to the sports industry to take the lead again. As we all know, the men's Final Four basketball tournament will take place this weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. NCAA President Mark Emmert has come out and said about this new law that we're very serious about our core values, and we want to make sure we can operate in an environment that is supportive of those values. So this is a very serious issue for us. Well, it's too late to move the NCAA men's basketball tournament. It's just too late. Logistically, it just cannot be done. So I suggest two things for Mark Emmert and the NCAA. Number one, never have another Final Four, whether it be men's or women's, in the state of Indiana again until this law is repealed. And never have any other NCAA championship, whether it's a finals, a regional, a play-in, whatever, in the state of Indiana until this law is repealed. The NCAA should come out and say, no, we will not accept this. We will not allow this to happen. Number two, the NCAA, you are going to generate close to $1 billion in revenue over the next 2 weeks, during the course of the men's basketball tournament. So this should be easy for you, since all the money you've generated. Move your headquarters out of Indiana. The NCAA's headquarters is currently located at 700 West Washington Street, Indianapolis, Indiana. Move it. You have the money. You just generated $1 billion in revenue. Take yourself and the Mark Emmert, take yourself and the rest of your NCAA staff, which only numbers around 450 people, out of the state. Okay. Get them out of there. For professional sports, I suggest two things also. Number one, the NFL. You have your yearly combines in Indianapolis, Indiana, in February. The combines are a time when student athletes wanting to get into the NFL come and showcase their skills before scouts, coaches, and front office personnel. Move the combines. Move it out of state. There are plenty of other facilities around the United States which would welcome you. St. Louis comes to mind first. Secondly, for professional sports, the Colts. The Indianapolis Colts. Now, you've kind of done this before. At one time, you were located in Baltimore, but in the middle of the night, under the cover of darkness, you moved your franchise, albeit that time for financial reasons. Now, I suggest and I encourage you to move your franchise once again. Night is falling. Pack up your Mayflower moving truck and get out of town. By the way, there is a little town west of you which needs an NFL franchise. I think we've all know the name of that little town. It's called Los Angeles. All right. Around 50 years ago, a man I admire by the name of Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I have a dream that one day in Alabama, with its vicious racist, with its governor having his lips dripping with interpositions and nullifications, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers." With all due respect to Dr. King and every other civil rights leader out there who I admire like you cannot believe, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day in Indiana, with its vicious bigots and homophobes, with its governor who bends to political whims and pressures, one day right there in Indiana, grown men and grown women will be able to join hands and walk into whatever establishment they feel that they want to go to, whether it's a coffee shop, restaurant, NCAA basketball game, or NFL combines. It doesn't matter. Grown men, grown women should be able to join hands and walk into any facility of their choice without being discriminated against and without a government that sanctions such discrimination. Thank you.